national transport infrastructure that includes road, railway, and air transport. The telecommunication and ICT, the insurance and banking sectors are all to international standards, making doing business easy. With the coming of the African Continental Free Trade Area, it is envisaged that the growth in market size will double to potentially reduce demand for products in both the mass and niche markets. The AFCFTA brings on board an integrated market built by countries with a population of 2 billion people and an approximate gross domestic product of $2.5 trillion United States dollars. There are various opportunities in the agriculture sector, with the government securing 100,000 hectares earmarked for agriculture activities in each of the 10 provinces of the country through farm laws. Other opportunities include large-scale farming, farm input and agro-processing, equipment supply, and commodity storage and trading. Investment opportunities include grain storage facilities, road projects, and provincial viaducts. Others include housing units, development and management of multi-facility hotels, convention centers, and health facilities. Opportunities include agro-processing, textiles and leather, secondary processing of minerals, chemical products, electricity, construction materials, and food products. Opportunities are available in information and communication technology, medical and franchising subsectors. In addition, Zambia has positioned itself as a hub for the production of electric vehicles and electric vehicle batteries in collaboration with the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. For more information on profile investment opportunities, kindly check investment.unigo.org/ACE/Zambia. Investors that satisfy requirements as required under the Investment, Trade and Business Development (ITBD) Act No. 18 of 2022 are eligible for investment incentives that include a 0% import duty rate on capital equipment and machinery for 5 years, and accelerated depreciation on capital equipment and machinery. Further, investors that set up a multi-facility economic zones, MFEs, or industrial parks are eligible for additional tax incentives, such as 0% tax on dividends declared on profits made on exports in the first year of commencement of works for a period of 10 years. Currently, the country has 7 operational MFEs and industrial parks, namely the Lusaka South Multi-Facility Economic Zone, ZCCZ Chambishi Multi-Facility Economic Zone, ZCC Lusaka East Multi-Facility Economic Zone, GNG Multi-Facility Economic Zone, Kalubila Multi-Facility Economic Zone, Roma Industrial Park, and Sub-Saharan Gemstone Exchange Industrial Park. In addition, ZDA also offers free personalized service to investors interested in exploring investment opportunities in Zambia. Contact the agency to arrange a visit to Zambia and to assist you in the evaluation process. We look forward to seeing you in Zambia soon. ZDA, potential made possible. For further details, send email to info@zda.org.za. Call +260-211-220-177 or 223-859 or visit our website www.zda.org.za.
Good morning. Good morning. Konnichiwa. May you please be upstanding for the guest of honor. Thank you. We may be seated. Good morning, everyone. Konnichiwa, once again. I welcome you all to the Zambia National Day Business Forum program being held under the theme Connecting Lives for a Sustainable Future. To our guest of honor, Minister of Tourism from the Republic of Zambia, Honorable Rodney Skumba, MP. Minister of Mines and Mineral Development from the Republic of Zambia, Honorable Opa Kiswe, MP. Permanent Secretary is present. His Excellency, Dr. Tobias Mulembeka, Ambassador Extraordinaire. Commissioner General is present. Distinguished guests from the Japanese and Zambian governments. Esteemed members of the international private sector, senior officials and members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you all distinguished guests. My name is Musanda Kangwa. I will be directing this program this morning. I do work for the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry for the Republic of Zambia. Good morning once again. A round of applause to you all. Thank you. Allow me at this point to call upon the Minister of Mines and Mineral Development, Honorable Paul Kabuswe, to give us his remarks. Honorable, a round of applause, please.
Good morning. Good morning. Ohio gozaimasu. I would like to recognize my colleague, the Honorable Minister for Tourism of Zambia, and also the Ambassador of Zambia to Japan, the Permanent Secretaries that are here, and all senior government officials. May I also recognize the captains of industry that are here from Japan. Thank you very much for attending our Zambia Day. I want to say that it's always a pleasure to be here in Japan. I think I was in Tokyo sometime 3, 4, 5 months ago, where I was stating the Zambia case in terms of what the outlook of the mining space in Zambia is today. And I'm glad I'm back today to be able to again just emphasize the fact that Zambia is ready for business and that Zambia is your destination in terms of investment in the mining space. So the government of Zambia sees the 2025 Osaka Expo in Japan as critical in advancing global sustainable development goals, SDGs, in various aspects in the mining space. As I go through my presentation, I just want to quickly run you through the 4 pillars that President Hakainde Hichilema, the President of the Republic of Zambia, has set as a guide in the mining space in Zambia. The number 1 aspect that we are looking at, which will actually summarize the presentation that some of you may have seen. So the number 1 aspect is that Zambia wants to attract affordable capital in the mining space. That is pillar number 1, and that is why we are inviting investors to come and invest with us, because we are part of the global village and we need capital to flow. But of course that capital must be affordable capital, because I think that in the past Africa has been exposed to a lot of expensive capital, which has made it very difficult for it to actualize proper profitability and a win-win situation for the investor and of course the nation. You realize that the minerals that Zambia is endowed with are meant for the Zambian people to see impact socially, or let me just say in various sectors of the economy, but also to support the investors that come with their capital. So that is pillar number one. We want affordable capital. Second pillar is technology. It is an undeniable fact that Japan is one of the most technologically advanced countries. And if you want to mine today properly, safely, and in a quick manner, you need to embrace new technologies. And that is why Zambia is placing its case to a country like Japan, so that we can embrace the technology that is in Japan translated into Zambia, so that we can mine quickly and there is a quick return on your investment. Mining is capital intensive, but it also requires that you put up technologies that will quickly actualize what you want to actualize, so that the turnaround time for your investment is actually reduced. The second part, the third part, in terms of the four pillars, is actually joint ventures. And that is why, again, we are here. That is why we are at this expo, is to find partners, to find people that we can joint venture with as a government, so that as we attract that capital, as we embrace new technologies, there is a win-win situation through the joint ventures that we enter into with various investors. As an investor, I want to tell you that Zambia has got one very big strength. Zambia is a peaceful destination. You can invest your billions and be rest assured that your money will be safe, because Zambia is a peaceful environment. We are currently having the 7th Republican president. We have relatively changed presidents peacefully. There hasn't been any serious altercations to be able to disturb the investment climate. And that is why Zambia is your destination of choice. The fourth pillar, the fourth and final pillar, is value addition or beneficiation. We want to value add. We've been mining for 100 years. I think at this particular time we go up to cathodes, anodes, but we want to go beyond that and invest downstream. So as you come to invest, you can equally come with companies that will want to invest downstream, because value addition is also key. And for us, why we are setting out these four pillars is for our people to see the benefit of the minerals that they are endowed with. But we will not leave you, our investor, alone. We want you to be part of the team, and we want to make sure that you are assured of the investment that you put in Zambia, and that there will be a return on that investment. So as I conclude, I want to tell you that Zambia is actively designing a future where mining empowers people, connects communities, and drives clean and inclusive industrialization. Where else can you talk about industrialization if you can't talk about Japan? We can see what Japan has done to its country, but we want that to be translated as we joint venture, as you bring in that affordable capital, as you bring in the technology, and as you invest in value addition. Thank you very much. I want to invite you to come to Zambia, because if you have not invested in Zambia, you have not yet invested. Come to Zambia and see how you are going to have a return on your investment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kabuswe, Minister of Mines and Mineral Development from the Republic of Zambia. As he has stated, you are all welcome to Zambia, and we will be ready and waiting for you. At this point, allow me to call upon our guest of honor for his keynote speech, Minister of Tourism, Honorable Rodney Skumba, MP. Guest of honor, sir. A round of applause, please.
The round of applause wasn't very convincing. Can we have a round of applause? That's more like it. That's more like it. Good morning once again. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to just go through the protocols. As I'm always told to say, you need to recognize the people who are in the room. Allow me to recognize my colleague cabinet minister who just spoke before me, Honorable Paul C.C. Kabuswe, Minister of Mines and Mineral Development, Zambia. Allow me also to recognize our host, the Zambian Ambassador to Japan, Dr. Tobias Mulipika. Thank you very much for hosting us. Allow me also to recognize the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, in charge of technical services, Mr. Mlongoti. You're very much recognized. I also recognize other directors and senior government officials from the Republic of Zambia, and indeed from Japan, who are here with us. Special recognition goes to our board chairperson for the Zambia Development Agency, Professor Biemba Maliti. Thank you very much for taking time to be with us here. And indeed, the Director General for the Zambia Development Agency, Albert Awapa, together with your colleague, the CEO for the Zambia Tourism Agency, Matongo Matamwandi. And most of all, special recognition to you, the private sector, both from Zambia and Japan. I think the records that have been briefed on is that we have been in excess of over 120 of you who registered to participate in this business forum. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Members of the media, distinguished guests, may I just say, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I extend, or rather bring you fraternal and warm greetings from the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who would have come this morning to address this business forum, but due to his work commitments, Mr. President delegated myself to come and represent him on my behalf. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will just indicate to you that we're very, very delighted to be here this morning at the 2025 Osaka World Expo Business Forum, which is being hosted ahead of what we'd like to invite you to, our Zambia's Country Day, which obviously Zambia will be the focus of attention at this year's World Expo. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this business forum is the second in Japan this year, with the first one, which was held in Tokyo in February 2025, where our President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, witnessed the meeting of over 100 Japanese companies with their Zambian counterparts for deals and transactions. I'm sure you may have heard Mr. President always talking about deals, deals, deals. And for us, we're coming back again to you to just indicate to you that we want to create deal rooms. A group such as yourselves in here should be able to now go into separate small rooms, probably speed dating, so that you actually pencil all those discussions that you have onto paper, and that's exactly what you want to see. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we gather at a transformative time for Zambia, a moment characterized by aggressive policies and business environments suitable for business and ideas to grow and thrive. I think my colleague Minister of Mines would not have coined it any better. There is no better time to invest in Zambia than now. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Zambia looking at interesting times in economic sectors, which obviously my colleague had mentioned earlier. But I just want to indicate to you that Zambia is ripe for investment in sectors such as manufacturing, mining, tourism, agriculture, and energy. And as Minister responsible for Zambia's tourism, I am especially honored to share Zambia's evolving story, one of resilience, progress, and that of promise. And as I was sitting in the holding room, ladies and gentlemen, I could constantly hear one of our unique promo videos that we keep on running. And those places that you saw, for those of you who may not have seen them, are all areas which we like to call as tourism development areas ready for investment. I just want to also indicate to you that my ministry, the Ministry of Tourism, just recently put together and published a document which we call Invest in Tourism Zambia. Now that particular document speaks to our Zambia Tourism Master Plan. I like to call it the Bible of tourism. That will now allow you to be able to single out specific areas where you want to invest. And we want to create what we like to call 10 key investment opportunities for yourselves, so that you do not need to know the Minister of Tourism, you don't need to know the Chief, let alone any director in the ministry, but for you, all you need to identify is that particular site, that particular opportunity, invest in it, and we'll be able to now give you that particular contract. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, over the past few years, Zambia has shown much more than resilience amid its challenges of natural occurrence, such as the 2023-2024 drought, which was the worst in the history of our country. We have shown that we can adapt and thrive in difficult situations. The 2023-2024 drought affected all sectors of our economy, starting from agriculture. As you may be well aware, most of our crop is rain-fed. Energy, which obviously supplies the bulk of the electricity to our manufacturing industry. I want to indicate to you that our manufacturing industry was running at about 50% production. Mining, as you may be well aware, and indeed that of tourism. Tourism, Zambia's tourism is nature-based. So with the onset of the drought, you actually saw that some of our wildlife was actually dying, almost decimated. Our forests were also getting threatened, and indeed our rivers were dry. That in itself is something that we could never have imagined. But obviously, we had to think about how best we could really get ourselves out of that particular incident. The drought just came about 2 years after the world's COVID-19 pandemic, which shrank most of our economies. Our economy was still in the process of recovery from the pandemic. But our country, Zambia, remained resilient, as we mentioned earlier, and strong. We changed policies, ladies and gentlemen, that needed to be changed so that we could adapt. And we recorded a positive growth of GDP of 4%. This is slightly lower than the 2023 in the 5.3% in 2023. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that in itself shows you how resilient our economy was because of the drought that we experienced. Because of that particular drought, the 4 or 5 economic sectors that we rely on were actually affected. But indeed, we managed to grow at 4%. You could have only imagined if that drought did not affect us, where Zambia would be at the moment. We are proud, ladies and gentlemen, of such resilience, which obviously could not have been achieved without the support of you in here, the private sector. Again, I think we need to give you a round of applause. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to inform you that the strategies are business-friendly and the government is open for more progressive ideas. I want to also indicate to you that the government of the Republic of Zambia has deliberately created what we call a public-private dialogue forum, a toolkit that allows government on one side, private sector on the other side, to be able to deal with matters pertaining to policies. Now, that in itself, we have agreed that we want to put private sector at the forefront in the driving seat of driving our economy. Government has no business doing business. The only thing that government needs to do is to create enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. At the end of the day, you are the private sector who got the profit motive. It's only you, the private sector, who want to generate profits, not government. Us as government, all we want to do is to make sure that your businesses are running and then we get the requisite taxes. And obviously, not punishing you, but just getting the requisite taxes, as well as allowing you to employ the many boys and girls that we have looking for opportunities in terms of jobs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have a target to improve our electricity generation to 10 gigawatts by 2031, coinciding with our ambition to increase the copper generation to 3 million metric tons, a target that my colleague cabinet minister here is constantly hitting his head on to make sure that he attains that. 2031 is not so far-fetched. 2031 is in the horizon. And in agriculture, ladies and gentlemen, the government has resolved to increase production of our staple crop to 10 million tons in 2031, that of which to 1 million tons. And of that, of tourism, we're looking at increasing our international arrivals to 2.5 million international arrivals from an all-time high of 2.3 that we received in 2024. Again, ladies and gentlemen, these, I would like to call them ambitious targets, but I strongly believe that these are targets that can be attained. We can only attain these targets with the participation of you, the private sector. We can only attain these targets with the participation of us as government to creating that enabling environment that you seek for us to create. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly believe that these targets can create opportunities for the private sector while government continues its role of providing direction and enabling environment. The government also stands ready to engage in any PPP, private-public partnership of your choice. Please feel free to reach out to us. And again, I must indicate to you that this gentleman standing here is a member of the Committee of Ministers who constitute the Public-Private Partnership Council. So we are looking for all those solicited as well as unsolicited bids to come and invest in our country. We'll be able to give you a piece of our land, we'll be able to give you those particular facilities that are already standing so that you can improve them so that you start your business. Ladies and gentlemen, Zambia is a vast country. We sit on 752,000 square kilometers. A third of that is a protected area. When we talk about protected area, we're talking about it being part national park, it being a forest reserve, it being a game management area. All those particular areas are opportunities for you to come and invest. You will be hearing from our colleagues from the Zambia Development Agency and indeed from Zambia Tourism Agency, who will give you a whole plethora of opportunities that exist in our country, both on public, on PPP, as well as just initial investment, as it were. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a well-known fact that across the globe, that Zambia is a beacon of peace. You may have heard my colleague talking about having gone through 7 democratically elected presidents. 7 democratically elected presidents. And within that scope, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of natural resources that need to be explored, and that are being exploited. Again, yet another opportunity. I'm not sure why my colleague Minister of Mines did not talk about, say, look, yes, we have all these natural resources in terms of mines, but they mean nothing if they're not mined. So it's very, very important that you come to us and then get to understand some of these opportunities that exist. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Japan, our host country today, is known as a world powerhouse for, among other things, technology. We've seen a lot of Japanese technology in Zambia. Just yesterday when we were driving into Osaka, one colleague was actually talking about that. Do you remember that we used to walk around with the Walkman? That thing was coming from Japan. Do you remember those cassette tapes, the TDK? Those were coming from Japan. That's many years ago. Many, many years ago. And we're here today. I'm not young, I'm not that old, but I can safely tell you that I used to use those TDK tapes. Again, I'm here in Japan to actually come and discuss business with those Japanese companies who were looking forward to come and invest in our country, Zambia. Distinguished guests, Zambia needs that technology. We need to use that technology to fully realize the potential in all our sectors that we've just made mention: agriculture, mining, tourism, manufacturing. We've been talking about digitizing Africa. We've been talking about digitizing Zambia. We're looking forward to bringing that technology into Zambia so that we become extremely more efficient. I'm a firm believer of Kaizen. We're always talking about continuous improvement, and that's what we want to see. We want to see continuous improvement from where we are currently in Zambia to the next level. At the end of the day, we probably want to be at par with what Japan has in store. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as I pause, I would like to invite you all who are in here to tomorrow's Zambia Country Day. I want you to come and witness what I would like to call our cultural display of Zambia. Now, what is so interesting about countries is that the only defining thing, when I talked about tourism being nature-based in Zambia, we're talking about wildlife. The same elephants you see in Zambia, the same elephants you see in China, Zimbabwe, the same elephants in China, India, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, the impalas, the wildlife you see is almost the same. But what is very distinctive is our culture. And that is what we're going to show you tomorrow as you come for the Zambia Day. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I also just want to take advantage of this opportunity to indicate to you that Zambia, in its quest to allowing as many tourists to come into our country, we have waived visa requirement to not one, not two, but 167 countries to come and access Zambia visa-free. And Japan is no exception. We have also included all Japanese, and I mean all you Japanese who are here, you can easily come to our country and get your visa upon arrival for free, tourist visa for that matter. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we always say in my ministry, if it ain't fun, it ain't tourism. So as much as you want to come and enjoy, do business when you come to Zambia, please feel free to come and see the vast array of products and services that we are able to offer after you do your deals. As I come to close, ladies and gentlemen, allow me yet again to invite you to Zambia's inaugural Invest in Zambia International Conference to be held on the 16th to the 18th of July 2025. This event, ladies and gentlemen, will give you a full idea of the investment landscape that we have to offer in Zambia. I must make mention, and without saying so because I'm Zambian, the investment opportunities in Zambia will blow you away. You'll be able to now start asking us questions. Why have you kept Zambia a secret? Maybe we need to keep it a secret until this time when we come to tell you about Zambia. When the investment opportunities and the favorable climate in Zambia become stable, there's no better time to invest in Zambia than now. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the government of the Republic of Zambia is overly overwhelmed and grateful for the support which the private sector of Zambia continues to give on matters of national development. I want to indicate to you that we have a very strong private sector, and whenever we move around, or when His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia attends any state visit or aid or otherwise, we are always accompanied by our private sector, who have in the recent past been very, very responsive to any call that we make as government to be able to assist us. As I mentioned earlier, government cannot do business. Government is not in the business of doing business, and that's the more reason why we carry our private sector. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to implore you that after this business meeting, find time to connect with our private sector that will come with, find time to connect with our investment team to come with, and indeed ourselves, the two ministers who are here. We're willing to hear from you, we're willing to offer you opportunities that exist in Zambia. We're also looking forward to having your investment in our country. So ladies and gentlemen, with those few remarks, I wish to thank you for your kind attention, and God bless you all. I'm looking forward to an exciting 2025 Osaka World Expo. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guest of honor, for your remarks. Thank you. So the guest of honor spoke to the promotional video and that is what we're going to have now, to which the Director General of the Zambia Tourism Agency, Mr. Matongo Matamwandi, will speak to. But for now, we can have the Destination Zambia video. I ask that we pay attention to the video now. There we have it. DJ, please, Mr. Matamwandi. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Allow me to recognize our delegation leader, Minister of Tourism, Honorable Rodney Skumba, the Minister of Mines and Mineral Development, Honorable Paul Kabuswe, Your Excellency, who is our host, Dr. Tobias Mulifika. I recognize you, our Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. John Nongoti. I recognize you, board chair for ZDA, colleagues, and invited guests. My presentation will be very, very short. First is just to consolidate what the two ministers have spoken about Zambia. I will just add a bit of detail that maybe was not touched in the speech. Other than that, is also to put detail to the video you see. And if you look at the screen, this is what Zambia has to offer in the tourism sector. And we are bringing this information to appeal and give assurance to those who invest in the tourism sector that to attract enough tourists to make your businesses succeed. We are also speaking to those who are hosted buyers, who are based in Japan, the destination marketing companies, the travel agents, to just assure you that if we went into partnerships, we can actually market these products to the rest of the world, and more specifically to the Japanese. This is what makes Zambia very, very unique. We have a good range of what we market. As you can see, so many national parks in addition to the game management areas we have. But allow me also to emphasize that the Victoria Falls is the only such falls anywhere in the world. You will only find it in Zambia, and I'll show you some details. But also Zambia is known for very, very specific things, and I'll single out a few of them, such as us having the highest population of hippos, and I'll show you some examples of how hippos look like. We have close to 60,000 hippos. There's no country in the world that has hippos like that. We also have the second largest world east migration, which is found in the western part of Zambia called the Luwa National Park. But also by world record, birds are considered as mammals, and the highest movement of any mammals in the world is found in our national park, in Luwa National Park, and I'll show you a bit of some examples. We can move to the next slide, please. So this is just to show you what Zambia has to offer, the wildlife. Allow me to mention that the wildlife in Zambia, you will not see it in a zoo. The animals live in their natural habitat. These are national parks. This is how they live in the bush, but you can go and see them and come out of there to come to the residence. Part of the heritage site I was talking about, the Victoria Falls, and I was referenced to the culture. This is one of our most famous traditional ceremony in the western part of Zambia called Kuomboka. That's a man-made canoe. But the size of that canoe, as you can see, has more than 100 paddlers paddling at the same time, crossing into that ceremony. We also do host a lot of events, meetings, incentives, conferences, those who want to move and go and have corporate meetings. Zambia offers very good facilities, and that is just one of the many that we have in Lusaka City. So this is just to show you what the Victoria Falls is like. The whole length of the Victoria Falls is 1,700 or 1.7 kilometers long. And I'm sure when you read, you find that it's also promoted to be in Zimbabwe. But out of that 1.7, 1.5 of it is on the Zambian side. And you can see the rest of the Zimbabwean side. It's a marvel to watch, and I'll show you the best time to see. Okay, so these are the activities that happen around the Victoria Falls. You can enjoy any of these. You can do bungee jumping. That's where we call the devil's pool. It's safe. Believe you me, where those are near the edge of the Victoria Falls, even if it looks like that, it's as safe as flying. We've never recorded any death out of there since it was created. That gives you that assurance that you can have fun and still be alive. And then on the river, which is the Zambezi River, you can have a lot of activities there, and some of them are those minor ship cruises you can have there. Okay? But other than the Victoria Falls, we have other water bodies. You might be aware that 30 to 40% of the water bodies in Southern Africa, they are around Zambia, and this is just to show you that beyond the Victoria Falls, you can be able to see other water bodies. Next. The national parks, they are dotted around, so when we talk about wildlife, you can visit a number of those national parks. On average, when tourists come to Zambia, you can spend 7 days to see different national parks dotted around the country, and there's sufficient transport to take you around, either by road or you can use our local flights around so that you just have. And they have different species of animals and birds, so it's not boring like you are seeing the same thing. So this is the mammal migration I was talking about. Between October and December, around that time, these birds are called fruit bats. They normally disappear where we suspect they go to Congo and beyond. every year around October and December, they come to converge to feed in there, and they are just a marvel to watch, like nothing you've seen before. Next slide. I was talking about hippos, and that's why I mentioned that they are slightly over 6,000. 60,000 was the 60,000 was the last census we did on these animals, and the biggest concentration is what we call what we call the Luangwa River, and there's a national park around there. It's just nice to see these animals. They are very interesting when you see playing around. Even animals do have fun. Next slide. The wildebeest migration, again, this happens somewhere between November and December. It always happens during a certain period of time. And you see them move around, and this movement is also very interesting to watch. Because remember, this is in a natural setup. There are other animals that you know that they move around that time, and there's a lot that happens. You have to come and visit and see it, and you always remember it. On our culture, again, you can see we have so many traditional ceremonies up to 98. We are not saying you can come to all of them in 1 year, but you can budget to come as many times. So they run throughout the year. We have traditional ceremonies that happen, and some of these, when you come to the National Day tomorrow, you will showcase some of these so that you just have a feel of how it is, and that's why the minister extended that invitation. So this is just to show you some of the facilities you can enjoy if you come to Zambia. This is in the national parks. This is the safari lodges we have. This is just a sample. You can see that one. There's even an elephant moving around there. It's still safe, but you can come and have fun. In the cities, again, we do have luxury hotels. You come for meetings, you come to visit. When you are in the city, we have some of the best international hotels that you'll be able to find within Lusaka and other cities around. We think we are also like what we have seen in Tokyo and around here in the night. We are not just talking about wildlife and waterfalls. In the city of Lusaka, if you come at night, this is how it looks. So those who want to have nightlife and enjoy what maybe you want to have something different from what you have here, you can still have a good city and nightlife in Lusaka City. Next slide. Not very clear, but this shows you how you can fly around to reach Zambia. We've got enough options on how you can fly. I hope we have some of the airlines there. Okay, so these are some of the airlines that you can use: Emirates, Qatar, Turkey. They all can take you up to Lusaka using different routes, and some fly directly to Livingstone. We've got now 5 actually international airports within Lusaka, so it's very easy to get into Zambia. And Honorable Minister talked about visas. As you can see, very easy to get into Zambia. 167 countries. This is basically 85% of international states can come in Zambia and enjoy our visa-free regime. The Japanese are part of that, and you can come. If you are getting any visa, you can get it online, and if you arrive there, you are guaranteed of 8 days for those who need to get visas, and easily extended for 90 days so that you can actually visit the whole country. Best times to visit, I thought this was important for planning purposes, for those who sell packages, for those who manage destinations. Again, you can see the Victoria Falls, you can go there throughout the year. We've got the high waterfalls in the early part of the year, and you have the drier part, and there's even sometimes when you have the Rocky Mountains on the same. And then those are some of the activities you can enjoy around there. The national parks, mostly the best time is between April and November. But for meetings, you can come anytime you wish to come. And the corporates, you can come and have your meetings. You can have your team building sessions in a completely different environment, and Zambia offers that. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you, Mr. Matamanji, for that very beautiful visual presentation of our investment in tourism. On that trajectory, we shall now have a video on trade and investment opportunities, of which I shall call upon Mr. Albert Alwamba, the Director General of the Zambia Development Agency, to speak to. So now the trade and investment opportunities video. Thank you.
Located in the heart of southern Africa, Zambia is one of the fastest growing economies with a population of over 20 million people, mostly youth. The country is blessed with abundant natural resources and vegetation, a diversity of wildlife, magnificent landscapes, and is home to the mighty Victoria Falls, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. The country has very stable macroeconomic fundamentals, with a growing GDP of about $21 billion United States dollars, inflation of 9.9%, and the local currency is performing very well against the United States dollar and other major world convertible currencies, appreciating by over 18.5% from January 1 to September 2022. Zambia has proven to be a strategic hub for trade and investment due to its central location with 8 neighboring countries. Zambia is a member of the regional and continental economic communities that are the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, Southern African Development Community, SADC, African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. Further, Zambia is well known as a haven of investments due to its unmatched investment climate, attractive investment incentives, and investor-friendly policies, supported by consistent policies and stable political will, rule of law, and peace that the country has enjoyed since her independence in 1964. The country has an ambitious vision of becoming a prosperous middle-income nation by 2030, backed by its national blueprint, the 8th National Development Plan. The overall aim of the plan is to improve the efficiency and competitiveness of the economy to sustainably lift the living standards of the people. The focus of the country is to attain economic transformation that will be marked by advancements in industrialization and economic diversification for sustained growth driven by the agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and tourism sectors, supported by ICT, transport and energy, and research and development. In terms of trade, Zambia is centrally located and land-linked to 8 neighboring countries with international transport infrastructure that includes road, railway, and air transport. The telecommunication and ICT, the insurance and banking sectors are all to international standards, making doing business easy. With the coming of the African Continental Free Trade Area, it is envisaged that the growth in market size will double to potentially induce demand for products in both the mass and niche markets. The AFCFTA brings on board an integrated market of 55 countries, a population of 1.2 billion people, and an approximate gross domestic product of 2.5 trillion United States dollars. There are various opportunities in the agriculture sector, with the government securing 100,000 hectares earmarked for agriculture activities in each of the 10 provinces of the country through farm blocks. Other opportunities include large-scale farming, farm input and agro-processing, equipment supply, and commodity storage and trading. Investment opportunities include grain storage facilities, road projects, and provincial aerodomes. Others include housing units, development and management of multi-facility hotels, convention centers, and health facilities. Opportunities include agro-processing, textiles and leather, secondary processing of minerals, chemical products, electricity, construction materials, and wood products. Opportunities are available in information communication technology, medical and franchising subsectors. Investment, Trade and Business Development (ITBD) Act No. 18 of 2022 are eligible for investment incentives that include a 0% import duty rate on capital equipment and machinery for 5 years, and accelerated depreciation on capital equipment and machinery. Further, investors that set up in multi-facility economic zones, MFEs, or industrial parks are eligible for additional tax incentives, such as 0% tax on dividends declared on profits made on exports from the first year of commencement of works for a period of 10 years. Currently, the country has 7 operational MFEs and industrial parks, namely the Lusaka South Multi-Facility Economic Zone, ZCCZ Jambishi Multi-Facility Economic Zone, ZCC Lusaka East Multi-Facility Economic Zone, Xianji Multi-Facility Economic Zone, Kalumbila Multi-Facility Economic Zone, Roma Industrial Park, and Sub-Saharan Gemstone Exchange Industrial Park. In addition, ZDA also offers free personalized service to investors interested in exploring investment opportunities in Zambia. Contact the agency to arrange your visit to Zambia and to assist you in the valuation process. We look forward to seeing you in Zambia soonest. ZDA.
Thank you. Allow me to call upon Mr. Alonba now. Thank you. A round of applause, please. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to see you this morning. You look colorful. We are happy to see you at Zambia. Let me just recognize the presence of the delegation leader, Honorable Ronnie Skumba, Minister of Tourism. Thank you, sir, for being here. We also recognize Honorable Koka Weswe, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Permanent Secretary, the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. John Mwangoti, Coast Technical Services. Thank you, sir. The investors who are here, the board chairperson of ZDA, my brother there, Matongo Matamandi, CEO, Zambia Tourism Agency. And thank you for companies that have made it from Zambia. We appreciate your sacrifice to come and interact with your fellow investors. Of course, I've seen my peers in the congregation, because you are hiding in the back there. Mr. Prosilia Chichikumba, the Permanent Secretary for Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Industrialization and Investment. So I'll basically take you through the presentation. A lot of things have been mentioned by the 2 honorable ministers, my brother there, Matombo Matamwandi. So I'll just quickly run you through what we offer as Zambia in terms of investment. I'm sure at the end of the day we should be able to make our minds to begin to see Zambia as a market that you can invest in. I know there's a lot to be done in terms of coming to that point of creating deals and joint ventures. But I know that Zambia is a country you can trust to come and invest in. Yeah, so basically, if you can see, already we are making a lot of progress in terms of investment. We are ranked already as number 3 investment attractiveness in Africa by a Fraser report. That's very, very important. Also, second largest copper producer. The economy there projected to be one of the fastest growing by IMF to around 6% of GDP. In 2025, and also we are faced in Africa in terms of the 4th globally for ease of getting credit. Let's go to the next slide. And also, I think one of the most important questions you would ask is why invest in Zambia? First and foremost, okay? So these are some of the points that you would look at in terms of why should a Japanese investor think of going to Zambia? Number one, at the top of the ladder, is leadership. We currently have good leadership in Zambia focused on trade and investment. The leadership that believes in the private sector, that's very, very important. Believing in the private sector to drive the economy. Also, we have stable policies in terms of private sector stability and growth. We also have available skilled workforce, of course, in areas such as agriculture, manufacturing, even mining. We have a lot of Zambians, for example, working in a lot of countries from the mining sector. Some are in Saudi Arabia, some are in Europe. You won't believe that we are scattered all over in terms of skilled labor there. Infrastructure availability, of course, there's more to be done. And we also have favorable tax regime. We'll talk about the incentives later. Also political stability. The two honorable ministers did mention stability in our country, peace. From the time of independence, we have enjoyed peace. As they mentioned, 7th president at the moment, democratic elected, very peaceful, so that's an environment that you can trust. And also, we have 8+1 neighbors. We've lived with them in Hammond, that's very good. I'm sure as you invest in Zambia, you look at those neighboring countries as a market, and also very stable and peaceful. And also the last one, in terms of repatriation of profits, after you have paid all your taxes, we are so liberal as a country. We allow you to take out your money to any jurisdiction of your choice. So we don't stop you from taking out your money from Zambia back to Japan after you've paid all your taxes. I know that's a very, very generous incentive, but I think Zambia is the only country that could be offering that kind of incentive. In terms of location, as already alluded to, of course, Zambia is only about 20 million people, but because we are strategically located, surrounded by 8+1 neighboring countries, total 9, meaning that if you look at the SADC region, about 300 million consumers. You get to COMESA, you're talking of almost 600 million consumers, the African continent of free trade area. That gives you 1.2 billion consumers. So you can see, if you come and locate in Zambia, that's very strategic. You'll be able to export into the region and be able to get your return on investment. In terms of regional hubs, as I did mention, because of where we are located, we are land linked, but that also gives you a lot of opportunities on how to evacuate your exports, your products. So you can go through Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, you can go through House Bay in Namibia, or Mozambique, Nacala, Beira, or Durban, South Africa. Now we are working on the Lobito corridor. I'm sure most of you have heard on this new project, connecting Zambia, DRC, and Angola. A lot of value chains are along that corridor. So you can see the options you have as an investor if you come into Zambia to set up there. There are a lot of investment opportunities. Already some of them have been mentioned. In mining, of course, ministers already mentioned that as a country we want to go from the current 800,000 metric tons to 3 million metric tons. And we are looking for investors like yourselves to come and invest in Zambia's endowments in the mineral sector, in particular value addition, beneficiation. So there are a lot of minerals in Zambia. It's not just copper and cobalt. We are talking about manganese, lithium, nickel, all those very, very important to the electric vehicle industry, which Japan is heavily endowed and ahead of. So we are inviting you to come into the country and participate in this extra 2.2 million tons of copper plus other critical minerals, so that you can participate in beneficiation and also value addition. We know that in terms of technology, Japan is a country we can depend and rely on. So here lies opportunities for you to come and invest. The government has gone ahead to create a multi-facility economic zone just for electric vehicles, batteries and accessories to come and invest in that zone, in the Copper Belt province of the country. We know that again, Japan is heavily endowed in this area. We are inviting you to take advantage as we contribute to climate resilient technology to reduce greenhouse emissions through a lot of investments in green technology. So here lies an opportunity to come and invest in Zambia, all the way up to assembly of electric motor vehicles. We believe that Japan has got, big brands like Toyota, Nissan, mention them. So this is an opportunity to come and set up close to the resources of some of the raw materials. So this is a huge opportunity that you can take advantage of. Let's move quickly to next sector. Of course, Honorable Minister, a lot of work is going on in your ministry to reform policies, to make sure that issues of licenses are investor friendly, cadastre. Right now we're undertaking the job mapping of the whole country using artificial intelligence. Of course, Excalibur is using that way, but definitely that exercise is meant to provide information to you, our investors, to say when you want to invest in Zambia, you should know where all these minerals are located so that you quickly make up your mind how much you want to invest and where you want to invest. In terms of energy, here again lies a huge opportunity for investors from Japan. The Minister of Tourism did mention that the country is moving to 10,000 megawatts of energy. From 1964 to date, 60 years, we've only generated 3,700 megawatts. But because of the drought last year, and this 3,700 megawatts is 80% hydro, but the drought last year exposed us to a lot of risks in terms of energy. The generation capacity went down to almost half, almost generating 1,500 megawatts of power, depending on the Kariba Dam. But because of that experience, we are now focusing on other renewables, solar, wind, waste to energy. So that's why you come in to help us generate the extra 6,000 megawatts of power. I know that again here, the Japanese industry or investors or private sector is well endowed to come and go into joint ventures with Zambia to generate the extra 6,000 megawatts of power to drive the 3 million tons of copper that we want to go to as a country. So it's very, very important that you come into a country, into Zambia, take advantage of the environment that is existing so that you can invest and have returns on investment. Because of that situation, the energy sector now has very investor-friendly, robust policies. One of them is open access. You can come into Zambia, generate the power, transmit the power, distribute the power. ZESCO, which is the power utility for the nation, can uptake that power, or you have the freedom to sell it to whoever is demanding for that power. You can sell it directly to the mining firms or to manufacturing firms. Or you can also export that power from Zambia to any country in the region or beyond the region. So the environment in the energy sector is very conducive for you to come and set up in the country. Beyond solar, wind, we are also looking at geothermal and a bit of thermal. Because if you look at the numbers, we are not emitting as much. So you can still invest in a little bit of thermal because that provides the base load that is required so that our generation capacity or infrastructure doesn't collapse. we can avoid the solar, but you need a lot of base load also to carry that power. Now, to motivate our investors to come into that sector, there are generous incentives that have been created during this period that we had deficits. One of them is generous incentives. When you import equipment in the energy sector, you will not pay any customs duty at all. You will also not pay VAT, which is at 16%. You will be zero rated. Your products will be zero rated, so you will not pay VAT. So you can come into the country and take advantage of these opportunities. Also the tariffs, because the price at which you sell your power also is very important to you, the investor, so that you have generous returns on investment. So the tariffs are negotiable, they are market reflective, such that that will motivate you to come into the country and invest. Let's move to agriculture. This is another very important sector for the country. We did mention that we want to go to 6,000 megawatts of power. Part of the reason is to drive the mining sector and the agriculture sector. After mining, this sector is very, very important because of its potential ability to earn us extra foreign exchange over and above copper and of course tourism. So in this area, the government has set aside as a matter of policy 1 million hectares of land just for agriculture, 100,000 hectares in each province. So you can come into Zambia. We have circulated the brochure which shows the land texture, the soil composition, the rainfall pattern in that area, and all the technical variables that you require to know to come and invest in the agriculture sector. Our model of investors in the agriculture sector is that you come into Zambia as an anchor farmer. For example, if we give you 5,000 hectares of land to grow wheat, soybeans, maize, already the minister did mention where we want to go to. Of course, soya, we want to go from 300,000 metric tons to 1 million, wheat from 300,000 to 1 million tons, maize from 3 million tons to 10 million tons. So you can see all those numbers. The gaps are opportunities for you to come and invest in Zambia. So the land is available, you come set up as an anchor farmer with an outgrower scheme model so that the communities around you there, they will grow the crop you are growing and aggregate for export. Because this is a very important sector, there are also generous incentives. When you are importing tractors, equipment, combined harvesters, you will not pay customs duty, 0%. Also, we've gone ahead because this is a very important sector. When you set up here, agro-processing, you get 10 years tax holiday. You will not pay income tax on profits and dividends for 10 years if you are setting up in the farm block. So that's very, very important for you to consider. We know that Japan is ahead in terms of technology, mechanization, so we are inviting you to come here and invest as well. So a lot of opportunities. Of course, manufacturing cuts across, whether you are in mining, agriculture, or other sectors. All these are value addition areas, very, very important. So there are generous incentives there that are cut across customs 0%, accelerated depreciation. If you go into the multi-facility economic zone, of course, you saw the video, but now almost 10 of them. If you are manufacturing for export in the multi-facility economic zone, we also give you additional 10 years tax holidays. No tax on profits and dividends for 10 years. I'm sure Zambia should be one of the best generous countries in terms of incentives. You may not find such incentives anywhere. Of course you may. But when we talk of peace, stability, just the location of the country, plus those incentives, you will find that Zambia is a unique country, unique location that you need to consider to come and invest. Let's move on. Yeah. course, ICT, this is a given. Japan is far ahead. We've also provided incentives in this area when you are setting up data centers. There's no customs duty when you are importing equipment. There's no VAT when you are setting up the data centers. So that should be encouraging enough to the investors from Japan. Yes. Of course, my brother there, Matongo, talked about MICE. We are encouraging you to come and invest in the tourism sector. There are a lot of opportunities. Over and above road infrastructure or housing, there are opportunities to invest in hotels. Right now, we don't have a proper, MICE where you can find enough presidential, rooms where you can invite presidents, 50 of them to come into Zambia and stay 3-4 days. We don't have that. We need a hotel which has got conferencing facilities, exhibition centers, and everything in one place. So we are looking for investors. We've seen the infrastructure around Osaka, Tokyo, state of the art. We want you to come to Zambia and bring that kind of investment, that kind of infrastructure and invest in Zambia. Of course, tourism, a lot has been said already, but there are a lot of opportunities also in terms of, investing in infrastructure, airstrips, roads, in that sector. I've talked about MICE already. Let's move on. Yeah, so basically, these are some of the opportunities. There are so many. My colleagues, my team has got all the profile projects. We've got over 100 profile projects which you can get interested as investors from Japan and be able to decide where you want to invest. But as Zambia Development Agency, you can apply for an investment license that gives you access to all the incentives I talked about. You can apply online. We'll be able to issue the investment license within a day once all the documents are there. So the ZDA is also there to handhold you to make sure that we link you to all the ministries, all the sector ministries, to make sure that your investment journey in Zambia is as brief and as enjoyable as it should be. So the team is available to give you more details about investment opportunities in Zambia. As the minister has already said, Zambia is open for business and Zambia is ready for business. Thank you.
Thank you, DG, for that very detailed breakdown into the sectors that are available for investment in our country. And to speak on testaments, on actualized investments, we do have Ms. Chanda Chime Katongo, Executive Head Client Solutions from the Zambia National Commercial Bank, Zanaco, to speak to us now. Round of applause. Good afternoon. Oh, I'll say that again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it is great to be here. I know that I've been given 5 minutes and I was reminded to stick to my time, so I'll go straight into it. To our guest of honor, the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Rodney Sikumba, MP, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Honorable Paul Kawuswe, MP. I will ride on the protocols so far by the previous speakers, but allow me to acknowledge the Zambia Development Agency for all the work they're doing. Mr. Halwamka, thank you so much for pushing us and for always engaging private sector. I think your support has been amazing, and we will continue to work with you. We'll continue to support you as well. My CEO, Mrs. Mukwandi Chiwesakunda, would have loved to be here, but she had other commitments. We're still here as Zanaco. It is truly an honor to speak today at the Zambia National Day Business Forum
here at the Osaka 2025 World Expo. This important platform promotes trade and investment, fosters dialogue between public and private sector stakeholders, and showcases Zambia's strategic investment opportunities across key sectors such as mining, agriculture, infrastructure, energy, manufacturing, and tourism, just to name a few. On behalf of my CEO, and indeed the entire Zanaco team, I would like to extend my warmest greetings and express our deep enthusiasm for the growing partnership between Zambia and Japan, as well as other global investors joining us today. Zambia and Japan have enjoyed a long-standing relationship rooted on mutual respect and a shared commitment to inclusive development. Japan has provided significant technical support over the years in education, agriculture, infrastructure, science, and technology, support that has helped shape many of Zambia's key sectors. However, while Japan's exports to Zambia currently stand at $479 million, Zambia's exports to Japan are less than $1 million, according to a ZDA statistic. There is a clear opportunity for growth, and today's engagement is a powerful step towards rebalancing that trade flow, deepening investment, and fostering value-added partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, Zambia represents a compelling investment proposition. Our government has undertaken meaningful reforms to ensure a stable and predictable macroeconomic environment, including streamlined regulatory frameworks, tax incentives, as mentioned by the many speakers before me, and deliberate efforts to enhance the ease of doing business. Zambia is not landlocked, ladies and gentlemen. We are land-linked, linked to 8 neighboring countries, offering strategic access to over 300 million consumers, as mentioned by Mr. Halwanpa. In the region, through trade corridors such as the North-South Corridor and regional blocks like COMESA and SADC. Our economy is on an upward trajectory, projected to grow at an average of 6% this year, driven by a revitalized mining sector, a bumper maize harvest, improved energy supply, and robust policy support for private sector-led growth. Zambia is richly endowed in natural resources such as copper, cobalt, nickel, arable land, and so much more. It has a young, educated, and increasingly skilled workforce. These fundamentals make Zambia an ideal destination for Japanese investors seeking long-term opportunities in Africa. At Zanaco, Zambia's largest indigenous bank, with a national footprint and deep local insights, we are proud to be at the forefront of facilitating investment. We stand ready to support Japanese investors across all sectors with our banking proposition, including bespoke financial solutions, project financing, corporate banking and investment advisory services, digital banking tools for seamless transactions and treasury operations, and importantly, partnerships that align with your ESG and sustainability goals, areas where Zanaco is a national leader. As a bank that puts you first, our commitment goes beyond transactional relationships. We aim to be a trusted, long-term partner in your journey. We understand Zambia's business landscape, regulatory environment, and local nuances, which allows us to provide tailored financial solutions that align with your strategic objectives. In this regard, ladies and gentlemen, I warmly invite you to meet with me during the B2B session of today's program, and to meet with the many private sector partners that have come in all the way from Zambia. We are eager to engage with you further, to understand your investment interests, and to discuss how we can support your expansion into Zambia. Honorable Minister, in conclusion, Zambia stands ready. We're ready to partner with the Japanese investors, and as SANACO, we stand ready to partner with you. Together, let us build a future of mutual prosperity, one powered by innovation, shared values, and sustainable development. I thank you.
Thank you for those remarks, Ms. Katongo. We are coming towards the end of our program. It is an honor now to call upon His Excellency, our host, to come and give us closing remarks. Your Excellency. Round of applause.
Konnichiwa. Honorable Minister, the head of the delegation, we are so grateful that you are here. I also want to recognize the team of chief executives that joined us. The team of chief executives that have joined us, and also the Zambian private sector that is here. But also the colleagues from Japan, the private sector. Many of them have met them, and I'm glad that you are here. We are looking forward to see you, and I'm hoping that after this, you'll be able to achieve your objectives. As we come to an end of the forum, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for all of you for attending this important event. The World Expo represents more than just an international exhibition. For Zambia, under the leadership of His Excellency, the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, this is a strategic platform to align with the smart and innovative solutions, mobilize investment, and promote inclusive investment in line with our national vision. Under the theme, Designing the Future for Our Lives, the Expo offers timely opportunity to showcase Zambia's potential, attract innovation, and also build resilient partnerships that advance our shared prosperity.
皆様、忙しい時に来てくれて感謝いたします。ありがとうございます。そして、大阪のエクスポは、いいチャンスがあります。ザンビアのビジネスとかについての関係もできるようになったら嬉しいです。今日は、いいチャンスです。
Zambia's participation in Expo 25 is fully integrated with our 8th National Development Plan pillars, that is focusing on economic diversification, human and social development, environmental sustainability, and strong engagement. It is our firm belief that the connections we build here today will effectively contribute to those goals.
そしてエクスポの、テーマは、今のザンビアのテーマと、使っていると思います。再生可能エネルギーとか SDGs とかについての関係もありますし、
This forum has underscored the immense potential international cooperation, especially between government, private sector businesses, and innovators who are ready to move from vision to implementation.
そして、プライベートセクターの人たちも、イノベーターも、一緒にいて、
we have seen how smart investment, ethical leadership, and shared purpose can align to design societies that are more resilient and more equitable and more human-centered.
そして、 目的は一生があれば、いい街を作れると思います。
Like I said to our private sector from Japan and from Zambia, all of you, we want to thank you for your presence and your commitment to building a future that works for all of us. Zambia is open for business, and we are committed to creating a stable and predictable and investor-friendly environment.
そして日本から来た人たちも、ザンビアの人たちも感謝いたします。そしてこれからザンビアは Open for Business と伝えたいと思います。いい関係を作りましょう。
I think it has already been emphasized that we welcome all of you to come and explore the opportunities to partner with us, partner with the private sector in Zambia.
そしてもう強調してたんですけれども、ザンビアにぜひ来てください。そして
and be part of Zambia's transformation story.
そして私たちの、話にも、一緒に参加します。
As a mission, as an embassy in Tokyo, we are ready to facilitate. We always be there, and we encourage you to come to our offices. Even today, if you have anything that you want us to facilitate, we are here. And I think many of you will be able to confirm that we have been there to facilitate most of these activities that we want to engage in.
そして、大使もいますし、大使館もありますので、日本人のプライベートセクターの人たちを助かります。何かの質問があれば。
As the expo continues to unfold, we remain open to new ideas, new alliances, new ways of thinking, because together we can design a future for everybody.
そして私たちは、またいい考えといい関係についてを、オープンになりますので、
Thank you. ありがとうございます。
皆様ありがとうございます。
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our formal program. We will be proceeding to the B2G meetings, B2B and B2G meetings immediately after this, but I will ask that we leave the room because they will set up the tables for those meetings right in here. So I will ask that we leave the room for just 3 to 5 minutes and then come back. So guest of honor, thank you so much for addressing us this morning, and to all our guests as well, thank you so much. Good morning. Yes, so we can mingle outside and stretch our legs, get some water as well, and then we shall head back for the B2B and B2G meetings.
Thank you.